Okay, y'all, so I just made $800 trading UJ and GJ last week. Two completely different trades. They both really good setups. I'm gonna explain to y'all exactly why I took it. I am a break and retest swing trader, right? I only trade break and retest, and I don't trade anything else because it is super simple, right? And I love super simple strategies. I love to keep it easy. I don't like overcomplicating trading, and I feel like any beginner can learn this strategy and make money like pretty fast because it's very, very, very simple. And I'm going to show you my entry. I'm going to show you what I'm looking for, right? I don't sell a course. I'm not the guru. I'm just someone who's showing my swing trading journey, and people seem to like it, right? And they just want to they want me to show more, so I'm just going to show that for y'all. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. What's up, y'all? So I am about to break down these two trades. First, I'm going to show you my GJ trade, and then I'm going to show you my UJ trade, right? And both are pretty good setups. I just want to show y'all like my ideas, my thought process. I chose it out a little early on UJ. I'm gonna explain why in the video, but yeah, let's get into it. Okay, boom. So we are looking at GJ right now. So GJ, we had a nice sell to the downside. So before I get into this trade and my entry, I just want to show you the overall market and what I saw before it happened and what my thought process was at the time. The market looked something like this at the time, right? So I'm going to actually hide my drawings for a second. So this is the weekly time frame. I like to analyze on the weekly, daily, and 4-hour time frame to help my overall direction, right? And I always start with the weekly. So this is the weekly time frame, and as you can see, at one point, you know, we were very bullish on the weekly, right? We were just making higher highs, higher lows, really strong push to the upside, right? But as you can see right here, we actually had a big bearish engulfing candle on the weekly, breaking structure right here. So we actually broke structure on the weekly, right? And we're coming back for this potential pullback to potentially drop even further. So I saw this on the weekly and I was like, okay, well, the weekly is bearish, that's number one, and we are on a pullback. So pretty soon we're gonna look to see another big drop pretty soon, right? So I already made a mental note that the weekly is bearish. Okay, cool. So daily time frame, we're bullish for now, but I noticed that momentum was starting to slow down. So if you look on the daily time frame, you can see that we are making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. But I want you to notice that when price gets closer and closer to these weekly levels, look how the daily starts to kind of lose momentum, right? At one point, if you look down here, we were making very, very strong pushes on the daily time frame, right? Daily, we had a strong push to the upside, right? Retracement, another strong push to the upside, right? All right, here's the retracement, but then right here, notice how it takes a couple pushes to kind of get up there, right? We push up, and then we come down, and then we push up again. We still haven't broke this level, right? We get all the way up to here, and notice if you really zoom in and look at these candle bodies, price never closed above this high. If you want to see even clearer, you can jump to a line chart, right? Here's my line chart. Notice how price never ever broke this high. So we're actually failing to break highs on the daily time frame. That was a sign for me, right? So not only are we approaching these strong weekly resistance levels, but my daily is also showing signs of like shifting. So I'm just waiting on the 4-hour time frame to give me that shift of structure that I need. I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean. So when I go to the 4-hour, I see something very interesting, and this is very key to my entry. 4-hour time frame is always what I look for. Direction is what I look to trade, like, you know, in the current moment, right? So whatever my 4 hour is going, that is where I'm looking to trade. So 4 hour, we were bullish at one point, right? We made higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher low, right? These lows are not getting broken. We're just getting higher and higher and higher until we get to a point, right? We get to a point where on the 4 hour price, we come down and we try to break back above, but we fail. I'm gonna put my drawings back on for a second, but we failed to take out this high up here, right? We did not take out this high. So that was my first sign, right? Price, we came up, we were making this uptrend, right? And then when we tried to make a high, we could not, right? So what happened? Price, we came down, right? Again, we tried to make a high, we could not. Okay, so that's 2 failed attempts at making a high right here. Now, this part is super important, right? Before I can look for sales, my 4 hour has to shift bearish. I cannot just enter sales because I feel like, oh, I think it's gonna sell. No, price action has to confirm to me it is ready to go down. How do I know that? I have my 4 hour support marked up right here. This is my last 4 hour support. See, this is the area, right? This is the last place price came down before we made a new high. So this is my swing low on the 4 hour. So basically, I understand that if price breaks a swing low on the 4 hour, we are now in the downtrend, and that happened exactly right here. Notice, again, we made this high, came down, failed to make a high, came down again, failed to make a high again, and then we broke strongly below this 4 hour support. So this was my first sign that, hey, we may be looking to head to the downside real quick, but I can't just enter on the break. Why? Because we are break and retest traders, right? So I'm actually waiting for price to come back to kind of confirm that, hey, price does not want to go any higher than this high before I look to enter sales. So that is exactly what I did, right? I waited for price to come back for this retest. So again, price, we ended up breaking structure. So we had a breaking structure to the downside, breaking the structure, we had the retest, and right around here is when I got my entry. Now, just to kind of really explain like what's happening, because I want y'all to really understand what's going on here. We just saw a reversal in the market, right? So again, price, we were making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Price started, you know, losing momentum, right? This was our last support area, and we're just looking for to see, hey, is this support going to get broken, right? That is our first sign. And again, price, we started failing to make highs, and at some point we did eventually break that swing low, that support area, right? Again, what we waited on, we waited on the retest. When price came back, this is where you're looking to enter. And the reason why you want to wait on the retest is because you're able to actually scale in on a lower time frame to get a better entry. I think right here I just chose to put my stop loss above these wicks, but if you really want a sniper entry, you could have dropped down to like a, let's say a 30-minute or a 15-minute time frame, right? And you could have really scaled in on a 30-minute time frame, like a 30-minute lower high, and said, hey, I want this to be my stop loss, right? You could really do that to really maximize your risk reward. But I just wanted to be a little safe, right? And I just wanted to say, hey, I just wanted to have this high time frame level as my, you know, stop loss, just to be safe. As for my target, and I'm gonna clear this off for a second just to keep this clean. I'm basically was just looking to come back to this daily support, looking to see if we were gonna break this daily support level, right? Because again, on the daily time frame, we are bullish, right? So higher high, higher low, right? But we're struggling, and it's giving a sign that, hey, we might break the support area. So this was really my main target, but I was looking to hold it a little longer. We're gonna explain this for a second. So right here, price, we were selling, and we had a, again, massive drop, right? Massive drop to the downside. When we're testing these weekly resistance levels, expect a big drop, right? And we got that. So again, 4 hour time frame, it didn't take long. It took maybe a day for this to get hit, right? I was actually holding for longer, and this is what I was saying about I could have had more. I was actually looking to see if we were going to continue to downside, right? So I actually was holding this trade down to this point. So at one point, I was actually up a little close to a 1-to-7 risk reward ratio, y'all, like a 1-to-7, right? And I was looking to see, hey, like, are we going to retest and go down, right? And we actually did end up retesting and going lower. But I started thinking about just overall, like, hey, I was up a 1-to-4. I started feeling kind of greedy, not gonna lie. And then seeing price kind of just give me that pullback, I was like, I really don't want to give back a 1-to-4, right? So when price pulled back, I was just like, you know what? Let me just close out the trade and not be greedy. Let me just take what the market gave me, because I don't really know if price is gonna give me more. For real, I'm assuming it is because of the weekly, but I don't know. A 1-to-4, that's a lot. That is a lot. Like, if you have the right lot size and you're risking a lot amount of money, a 1-to-4 can do wonders, right? And I just felt very greedy around this time. But we actually did end up dropping lower, which is crazy. We actually did get this pullback and then this lower drop. But again, like I said, once price pulled back up, I did end up securing. But I could have, again, I was up like almost a 1-to-7. I could have took the 1-to-7, but it's all good. We took this 1-to-4. I only risked $100 on this trade. Usually I'm risking like $200. I don't recommend mixing up your risk. The only reason I changed my risk was because I took a big withdrawal for a big purchase, but I shouldn't have done that. I should have stuck to my risk management plan, because I could have made $800 on this trade alone, but we made just a little over $400 on this trade, which is still good. I'm still grateful, very appreciative, you know, because I made it from my phone, right? But yeah, this is the first trade I took on GJ, right? Very solid, very cool. And yeah, on to the next trade. So this second trade is on USDJPY. So I'm going to explain this for a second. This is very, very, very simple, right? USDJPY, if you look on the daily time frame, notice how we are bullish, right? Daily time frame, it's a little choppy, but I'll show you real quick. So right here we had this low, right, made a high, came down, made a new high. Right here we actually end up breaking structure to the downside, so a little choppiness, a little range right here, right? But all in all, we still end up breaking higher, creating a new breaker structure. So my daily time frame is still bullish basically. Weekly time frame is also bullish. If I look on the weekly, you can see we are only making higher highs, higher lows on the weekly. So I have a strong bullish bias because my weekly and my daily are both bullish. So my weekly and daily are both bullish. I see that we are currently in a pullback on the daily. Well, I understand that, hey, this right here is my daily support. If we're in the uptrend, price should not break daily support, right? So what I did, I actually drew a Fibonacci from this swing low, from this swing high. And if you don't know what Fibonacci is, I have a video on Fibonacci and basically like what I use, what I target, all that. And basically I see that, okay, we had this pullback. We're in the golden zone. The golden zone is the 50 and 60% level, right? We're in this golden zone. And I see that we just closed as a doji on the daily time frame. So closing as a doji on the daily time frame tells me a lot of things. It tells me that this downward push to the downside, we now are in an area where there are buyers present, right? We didn't push any lower. It's also showing me that there's indecision in the market, and it's a high chance that we may go the other direction. So because I got this doji on a higher time frame, on the daily time frame, that was a very, very big confluence. And not only did I get a doji, but I got it in the golden zone. So just confluence on top of confluence, right? And then the overall time frame is bullish. So that's 3 confluences right there for me. So at this point, I'm looking to scale in on the 4 hour for my entry. So basically same exact thing, right? Same exact thing. I'm looking for a 4 hour shift of structure. My 4 hour currently is making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. I can't just jump in the trade because I feel like, oh, I think it's gonna go up. No, I have to wait for some kind of confirmation to tell me, hey, we're looking to go up, and that is going to be my shift of structures. Right around here, I'm looking for my 4 hour shift of structures. I'm going to kind of let price play out and show y'all kind of where I saw my entry. Okay, y'all. So right here is where we got our shift of structure. So again, 4 hour time frame, we were making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? Made a little high right here, lower low. And then right here is where we got our very, very slight shift of structure. It's hard to see. I'm gonna mark it out for you real quick. This is our 4 hour resistance level, right? And we are slightly breaking above that level. If you want to see even clearer, you can drop to a lower time frame, like a 1 hour or 2 hour. I dropped to a 2 hour personally, and I saw it way clearer on the 2 hour. So on the 2 hour time frame, you can see that this 4 hour structure, this resistance is getting broken, right? So right here, as you can see, we are breaking above this level. So okay, I see this, and I see this breaking structure, but we are breaking retest traders. We can't just get in on the breaker structure. We need a little bit more confirmation. This could have been anything. This could have been like a liquidity sweep before heading back down to the downside, right? I need to make sure that price does not want to go any lower. So right here, I got the break. I waited for my retest. I waited for my correction, right? Right here, I'm just waiting for price to come down and not break this swing low, right? Price cannot break this swing low. So price, let's see what price did. And as you can see right here, price, we did not break the swing low. We broke structure, we came up, right? We did not break these lows. And what happened? We broke back above this 4 hour resistance level. So when price decided to break back above this level, this is where I was looking to actually get my entry. So I had an entry right on this level right here, this 4 hour resistance level. So where these bodies are, I was just looking for price to break back above these candle bodies. So I put my buy stop order right here on this level, right? I put my stop loss a little bit below this low, and my take profit was daily targets. Why? Because we are bullish on the daily time frame. All in all, like if we're on the uptrend, I expect to make new highs on the daily. I expect for this to break this high and even higher, right? So I was targeting daily liquidity in the daily 27 extension. Now, I actually did not get my full TP, and there's a bigger reason behind that. Basically, price was playing out. It was Sunday. I'm sorry, not Sunday. It was Friday. This is NFP week, right? The news is coming out, and I noticed like when the news came out, we just had this resistance level being formed on this level. So it's kind of showing me like, hey, this was a sign that, hey, price might not be looking to go any higher, right? Because I expect a big push to the upside, right? So that was one reason why I didn't hold all the way was because we saw this resistance level. And another big reason is because, and this is more on a bigger, more fundamental scale, but on just UJ in general, we're approaching this 160 threshold, and this is actually a very key area where a lot of investors are getting nervous, right? A lot of people are talking about a potential interest rate hike if we do break this 160 level, and I was just a little nervous approaching this level because I know there's so much hype and talk about this level. So I just didn't really want to, if I saw resistance below the level, I wasn't going to chance it. I was going to take my profit. And it was Friday, it was the end of the week anyway, so I went ahead and took my profit. This time I did risk my $200, so I did risk $200, so I only caught about like a 1 to 2.5, which is I like to catch at least a 1 to 4, but you know, I gotta take what the market gives me. So I ended up closing out here because I do believe, like, I'm pretty uncertain when we get to these levels. We're also at levels that we never really been before as well. So yeah, that is my trade on UJ. I did decide to close early because I was just very skeptical about those higher levels, those levels we've never really been before, and it was just too much news regarding those levels. I didn't want to play around with those levels. Once I saw price action starting to, you know, form resistance there, I was like, I'm good, let me take my bread. Got $800 for the week. I'm still very grateful. Looking to do even more next week. If you're looking to follow along on my trades and just my journey overall, I have a Telegram where I do kind of send out my ideas if you want to follow them. Telegram is free. You can check it out. It's in my bio or my description. And yeah, y'all, that is pretty much it. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Please let me know if y'all have any questions. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to your girl. You feel me? And yeah, I just hope y'all have an amazing, wonderful, blessed day. Good luck trading this week. Bye.